they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. As stated in the Vedas, Purusha Bodhini Upanishad, Eko Devo Nitya Lila Nurakto Bhaktavyapi Ridhi Antaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many, many transcendental forms in relationships with his unalloyed devotees. This Vedic version is confirmed in this verse of the Gita personally by the Lord. He who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculations, attains the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can without a doubt attain liberation. The Vedic version Tattvam Asi is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attains perfection, and this is confirmed by the following Vedic assertion. Tam eva viditvati mrityum eti nanya pantha vidyate yanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no other way to achieve this perfection. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8. That there is no alternative means that anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance, and consequently he will not attain salvation simply, so to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to mundane scholarship. Such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustute. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here, very powerfully, Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us that with faith and with conviction, one must understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one must understand his transcendental position. That means all his activities, his birth, his appearance, his form, his name is all transcendental, are all transcendental, and therefore he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, completely untouched by the modes of material nature. In fact, he is the controller of the modes of material nature, and all his activities are divyam, divine, transcendental. So in the beginning, one may be, surprised. Those especially who are born in countries other than India, they do not know, first and foremost, that God has a form. He has a name. He's very beautiful. He's full of opulences. And all his activities are wonderful. Because the concept of a form of God is so alien to them. Many of them grapple with this, with trying to understand how the Lord can be transcendental, how the Lord can perform superhuman activities, how the Lord can kill demons right, left, center, and continue playing sweetly on his flute with his cowherd boys. All these things are achintya, inconceivable, very difficult to understand. But because the devotees have surrendered to the process of devotional service, Krishna mercifully illuminates their hearts and gives them the understanding by which they can come to him. Krishna says that himself. To give them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. 10th chapter of the Gita, I think it's verse 10, 11, if I'm not mistaken. Tatenukampam, no, Tesham evanukampartham. What is the second line? Yeah, let's go to 10.11, please. Jnane deepena bhashvataha. I'm forgetting. My memory is going. Anyway, 10:11, Krishna says very clearly to show them special mercy. Okay, there we go. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto gnana deepena bhashvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness that is born of ignorance. So devotee gets very special mercy, simply by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual master. One gets incredible amounts of mercy. One is given the chance to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. And this immediately puts him on the transcendental platform, because remember, devotional service is not of this material world. It is coming in the internal energy of the Lord, Ladini Shakti. And therefore, devotee becomes purified by engaging in devotional service. And this knowledge is revealed within his heart by the process of devotional service. Let's go back to the main verse, please. So, Krishna wants us to understand how wonderful he is, how powerful he is, how great he is, how transcendental he is, and how he protects his devotees. He wants us to have faith in him. He wants us to take complete shelter of him so that he can give us full protection. Because the thing is, if we take shelter of something else, to that extent, Krishna cannot give that protection because he doesn't interfere with our free will. So if we are taking shelter of our bank balance, of our position, of our connection, Krishna doesn't touch that. He says, all right, you are taking shelter of fallible soldiers. What can I do? And then when they let us down, then we go running to Krishna saying, Krishna, help. So better to take full shelter of Krishna, better to take full shelter of Krishna's devotee, the bona fide spiritual master, so that we get full protection. This is the guarantee Krishna is giving us. And by understanding these wonderful pastimes, we are eligible to enter the kingdom of God. Immediately, one already becomes liberated and one can enter the kingdom of God. This is the guarantee that is being given to the devotee. The yogis and the impersonalists, it's a very troublesome process. And even after many births of struggle, at the most, they enter into the Brahmajyoti. But that is not a permanent position, because the spirit soul needs active involvement in terms of a relationship. It cannot stay in a vacuum. Imagine you being in a huge palace all alone. You have lots of opulence, lots of wonderful things, but there's not one soul to cut. Sorry, I will just turn that off. Sorry about that. So I'm in a hospital right now, so it's a little tricky. So where was I? Where was I? What was I saying? Can someone remind me? I was saying,
Yes, Mataji, you were saying that when you are in a huge palace and you are all
yeah,
alone, all that
all
you are.
alone. After some time, you're going to crave the association of another soul to relate, to talk to see, to interact with. So Brahmajyoti is not a permanent position. After some time, they have to fall down and come back again to this material world. So what is the use of their performing all those austerities for so many lifetimes? There's no use of that. So Bhakti Yoga being the highest position, we must take full advantage and go full steam ahead and try to attain that position that Krishna is promising us, which is to come back to him. Hmm? One who understands this does not take birth here again. What a wonderful promise Krishna is making. So, simply by taking shelter of this process by Krishna consciousness, we can be eligible to go back to the spiritual world. Now, why does Krishna come to this material world? Krishna comes to attract us by his uncommon pastimes. Because the conditioned soul has forgotten Krishna, he does not remember Krishna. He's still trying to lord it over material nature. He's still trying to enjoy, exploit, own, and control material nature. Krishna comes to show us you are not the controller, you are not the proprietor, you are not the enjoyer. I am. And you can only be my servant. And that's the way to come back to me, to relate to me, to connect with me, to interact with me, and have that loving exchange that your soul is longing for. Everyone wants love, isn't it? Perfect love and perfect happiness. But that perfect love and perfect happiness can only be found in our relationship with Krishna. That is why this material world is designed in such a way to frustrate us, to annoy us, to disappoint us, to cause so many calamities to happen, just so that we turn to Krishna and say, Krishna, where are you? I need you. I'm so tired of being kicked around by this material energy. I'm so tired of trying to be the boss of everyone here when I can never even control my own mind and senses. Please help me. So when that spirit soul calls out in great desperation, Krishna, where are you? Krishna who is indwelling in our hearts. Remember what Krishna says? I am seated in everyone's heart. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So immediately Krishna sees, now this soul is ready to come back to me. And what does mercy representative, the spiritual master, to lead us back home, back to Krishna? So Krishna in the heart leads us to the spiritual master, and the spiritual master in turn leads us to Krishna in our hearts. Perfect process. So Krishna is very merciful. He is like a loving father who cannot bear to see his children unhappy in this material world. And so he's always trying to bring us back to him. And one of the ways he does that is by taking birth in this material world. Not just for that, he has many reasons to come because Krishna accomplishes many things with one thing. Just in the previous few verses of 4:7, we will see 4:7 and 4:8. परित्राण यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Wherever and wherever there is a discrepancy in the religious principles and a predominant rise of a religion, I advent myself. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. To annihilate the miscreants, to deliver the pious, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So this is all Krishna's activities, and it happens again and again and again. It is cyclical. It's like this. When Krishna disappears from one universe, he's appearing somewhere else. When Krishna is performing activities in some other universe, another Leela is taking place. Because Krishna is inexhaustible, his activities, his name, his forms, his incarnations are innumerable. His pastimes are going on all over the universes. Different things going on, different places. Remember in Krishna book how Narad Muni comes to the palace of Krishna and he sees 16,108 palaces, 16,108 queens, and 16,108 Krishnas in each palace, performing different activities according to the time of the day, according to the activities of the household. Huh? So this is Krishna. He is inconceivable and simply wonderful. So when Krishna comes to this material world, he performs many activities. He annihilates the demons, he delivers the pious, he reestablishes the principles of religion, and most of all, he gives great pleasure to his devotees who are hankering for the merciful glance of the Lord to fall upon them, to exchange loving pastimes with Krishna. So when Krishna takes birth in this material world, it's a very wonderful phenomenon that happens. And this is beautifully described in Krishna book. So 5,000 years ago, when Krishna advented, what was the situation of Mother Earth? She was in a very precarious situation because so many things were happening. The demons had become too numerous for Mother Earth to bear. And so she took the shape of a cow. And whenever there are discrepancies in any planet, that planet's head can go to Brahma, who is the secondary creator of that universe, and lodge a complaint, like how we go to the local authorities to lodge a complaint. So similarly, she went and she related her calamitous position with tears in her eyes. And Brahma, becoming very compassionate, he realizes this is something that only the Lord can address. So, with all the demigods headed by Lord Shiva, even Indra, everyone goes to Shweta Dweep Island, which is a transcendental planet within this material universe, where Lord resides as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu in the ocean of milk. In that island, in the middle of this ocean of milk, there's an island, and Lord is lying on Sheshnag as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. So Brahma cannot enter this planet. He stands on the shore and offers prayers. And all the demigods offered prayers. These prayers are called Purusha Shukta prayers. And there was no sound. So again, Brahma sat in meditation, and in his heart, the Supreme Lord gave him a transcendental message. And what is this beautiful message? Do not worry. I am myself coming. I'm going to advent myself and give solace to Mother Earth. And Mother Earth became very jubilant later when Krishna came, because his lotus feet were on her all the time. So she became very jubilant. He said, I am coming to execute the mission of annihilating the demons and giving relief to the devotees. All the demigods must immediately take birth there in the Yadu dynasty. Also, I'm sending my brother Balaram, who will come in the form of Sankarshan, and my potency Mahamaya will also be coming in order to perform and assist in my pastimes. So hearing this, Brahma becomes very pleased. All the demigods become very pleased and they get ready to take birth in the family of Yadu on the earth planet. Then, at the right time, Krishna takes birth. How does this happen? Now we go to the kingdom on earth. So, Devaki, who is the daughter of King Devaka, was married to Vasudev. And who is Kamsa? Kamsa is her cousin. Devaki's father Devaka is the younger brother of King Ugrasen. And both of them are the
Sorry
sons
to
of King
interrupt.
Ahuka. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Can I stop sharing the verse?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. King Ahuka. And that's how they are cousins. So Devaki has just been married to Vasudev, and Kamsa, being very, very fond of his sister, he undertakes the task of driving the chariot to deliver her and Vasudev to her new home. And as they are driving, a celestial voice is heard. And what does that voice say? Kamsa, you fool! You're driving the chariot of your sister and brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of your sister will kill you. Immediately, a transformation takes place. What does Kamsa do? Just hearing that sound, he is ready to kill his own sister. He grabs her hair with his left hand, with his right hand, which holds a sword. He's ready to cut off her head. And Vasudeva is shocked. He says, somehow or the other, he has to save his wife. And he starts pleading with Kamsa. He says, my dear brother-in-law, why are you doing this? Why are you so afraid of death? And who knows whether, you're going to die now or die later? What is the guarantee? Anyway, the death is going to come to all of us. And he makes a very beautiful explanation of the real philosophy. You're not this body. Your spirit soul. And you're going to take another body. As long as a living entity is in this conditioned state, he must take material bodies one after another. So why do you worry? And why do you want to spoil your reputation? And then seeing that Kamsa is still very much, agitated, he says somehow he has to, promise something to this man so that he will not harm his wife. He says, anyway, it is not Devaki who is going to kill you. It is the prediction is that her children will kill, one child will kill you. So I promise you that every child that is born to us, I will deliver into your hands. Now, Kamsa knew that Vasudeva was a man of honor. He was a man of his word. So he releases both Devaki and Vasudeva and allows them to go. And he actually feels ashamed of what he is trying to do. So he tries to make amends by, apologizing. No, the apology comes after the first child is delivered to him. He just lets them go. But now Narad Muni comes along because he wants the descent of Krishna to be hastened. So you know what Narad Muni goes and does? He goes to the court of Kamsa and he says, Narad, Kamsa, how do you know which is the eighth child? It could be the first child if you count the other way around, and it could be the eighth child if you count this way. And he confuses Kamsa thoroughly and frightens him so much that Kamsa thinks, I must kill all the children. I don't know which is this eighth child, and you can never believe. Who knows what the demigods, what tricks they are playing on me. Hmm? So he decides that he's going to kill all the children. Immediately he arrests Devaki and Vasudeva, throws them in a deep, dark dungeon, puts them in iron shackles, and keeps them there. One after the other, Devaki gives birth to 6 children, and in a very heinous and cruel manner, Kamsa kills all the 6 children one after the other. Now, why does this happen? There's a tale behind this also. Kamsa was previously the demon called Kala Nimi. And these 6 children were actually the sons of Maricha, who actually they laughed at Brahma for running after his own daughter. Due to this curse, Brahma got very angry and cursed them, and they had to take birth as demons. So now, in their next birth, they perform intense austerities to please Brahmaji without telling their father Kalanimi or their grandfather Hiranyakashipu, sorry. Now, Hiranyakashipu, coming to know he's a demon, that they have worshipped a demigod, Brahma, he flies into rage. He says, you have worshipped Brahma without letting me know. I will curse you. Your own father will be born, and as your uncle Kamsa, and you will take birth from the womb of Devaki, and all of you will be killed by him. But this is actually a curse which delivers them. So it is like a benediction curse. Anyway, that's the story why one after the other, all of the 6 demons were killed by their own previous father, who has now taken birth as their uncle Kamsa. Now, what happens? The 7th child is Lord Balaram. Krishna has ordered Balaram to take birth to prepare everything for his descent to happen. When the child is in the womb, then Krishna orders Yogamaya. He tells her, you forcibly attract this baby into the womb of Rohini, and then everyone will think Devaki had a miscarriage, but Rohini will safely give birth because she is in Gokul with Nanda and Yashoda. And I myself will advent after that, and you appear as the daughter of Nanda and Yashoda along with me. So this is what he orders to Devaki, to Yogamaya. And then one fine day, dark midnight, Krishna takes birth. And how pleasing the whole atmosphere is described very nicely in Krishna book. And so I will take you to the birth of Lord Krishna, how beautiful the whole atmosphere becomes just because Krishna is going to take birth. All the constellations become perfectly lined up, and under the star of Rohini, Krishna takes birth. And this is such a beautiful description, so I will read it out. At that time, in all directions, east, west, north, south, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky, and on the surface of the earth, in all towns and villages and pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices, and peacocks began to dance. The wind blew very pleasantly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, and the sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the Brahmanas, who were accustomed to offering sacrifices in the fire, found their homes very pleasant for these offerings. Due to disturbances by the demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped, but now they could start the fire peacefully. They had been very much distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities, but just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear transcendental vibrations in the sky proclaiming the birth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And how does Krishna take birth? He first appears in the mind of Vasudeva, and from his heart, he gets transferred into the heart of Devaki, and from her heart into the womb of Devaki, and that is how he takes birth. Now, how does the Lord appear? He appears as a wonderful little baby with 4 hands, holding a conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower, with beautiful, long, dark, black, curly hair, dressed in yellow silken robes, and having ornaments. He appears like a beautiful black cloud, wearing a helmet with Vaidurya stone, valuable bracelets, necklace, earrings. Which child is born like this? So it becomes very obvious to Devaki and Vasudeva that the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared in a prison dungeon. Haribol! Krishna can take birth anywhere, and he appears like this and gives great pleasure to Devaki and Vasudeva. At first, Vasudeva is struck with wonder how such a beautiful child is born to him with 4 hands, beautifully decorated. And on realizing this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he offers very sincere prayers. And in his mind, because he's in a dungeon, he's in a prison, he offers 10,000 cows in charity, which are beautifully decorated with golden ornaments to Brahmanas and sages. And here, Srila Prabhupada explains that if one cannot worship with actual paraphernalia, one can do Manasa Puja. That means mental puja one can do to the Supreme Lord, and that is also considered as worship of the Lord. So he gives so many cows to the Brahmanas. Devaki also realized this is the Supreme Lord, but she starts saying, my dear Lord, I am very afraid of this Kamsa. I do not know what he will do. So I beg you to change yourself into the form of a little baby, so that she feels that if he appears like an ordinary child, then nothing will happen. While if Kamsa sees immediately, this is the Supreme Lord, he will immediately take action. She doesn't realize Supreme Lord is all powerful. He can do anything. So they offer prayers to the Lord, and then Krishna becomes very pleased with them. And what does he say? He says, I know that you're afraid. You think that Kamsa might harm me, but you do not worry. You take me to the land of Gokul, where a child is born to Nanda and Yashoda, and you exchange that baby girl for me. You leave me there. That's what he tells Vasudev. And by his complete power over all the material energy, what happens? The guards fall fast asleep. They do not know anything. The shackles fall off from Vasudev's hands and legs. He becomes free. Hmm? And now Vasudev leaves the prison house completely unmolested because no one can stop him. The gates just open automatically, and he is free to walk out with little baby Krishna in a basket over his head. Now, is it an ordinary night? No, it is a very dark midnight, and it is Ashtami. That means the dark phase of the moon. Hmm? And it is heavily raining, and the Yamuna river is in spate. There's a huge flood, and at the same time, Vasudeva has to cross. But guess what? By Krishna's powerful potency, the river gives way for Vasudeva to cross, and Anantasesh appears like an umbrella to protect baby Krishna. Of course, Yamuna tries to rise higher and higher, and the description is there at one point that the baby just, disappears from his grasp, and Vasudev is calling out, "Where's my child? Where's my child?" But it is just Yamuna wanting to touch the Lord's lotus feet. So as soon as she touches his lotus toes, immediately she recedes and gives way for Vasudev to cross with baby. And again, he's so surprised when he reaches Gokul. Everyone is fast asleep. Nobody sees him. Nobody hears him. He quietly enters into the home of Yashoda Maya, who has also given birth to a child. But she is so fatigued with the labor of childbirth, she cannot understand male child, female child. She cannot remember anything when she wakes up. That is, she's fast asleep now. Vasudev quietly places baby Krishna and takes this little baby girl back, and again quietly goes all the way back to the prison house. As soon as he re-enters, the prison gates close, the baby starts crying, and immediately they inform Kamsa. Huh? And Kamsa, what does he do? He comes running because he realizes this is the 8th child or 7th child. He doesn't know, but he's afraid. And so he comes running over there, and then he grabs the baby. But what happens? Devaki starts pleading with him in a very, very meek voice. She says, "My dear brother, please do not kill this child. This is a girl child. You've killed cruelly all my other children. Please spare this one child for me. I promise you, I will give my girl child to your son in marriage." But he doesn't care for any pleading, anything. He just grabs the baby and he's going to dash it on the stone just as he has done to all the previous children. When what happens? Another miracle. She slips out of his grasp. She appears in the sky, and she is Yogamaya, Durga Devi. She appears with 8 arms holding different kinds of weapons. And she says, "You rascal, how can you kill me? The child who will kill you is already born somewhere else in this world. Don't be so cruel to your poor sister." And she disappears from there. Kamsa is astonished and also fearful, and immediately releases both his brother-in-law and sister. Says, "I have acted very shamelessly." It is really surprising that this demon actually becomes very decent just for a moment, because ultimately again he goes back to his demoniac ways. But he apologizes. He says, "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me for the sins I have committed, for killing all your children. You are very great souls while I am very fallen. Please, please forgive me. And so you are so gentle, so kind. All these things happen by destiny. Please excuse me for the atrocities I have committed on you. I am very poor-hearted. You are so great-hearted. So take compassion upon me and excuse me." And Devaki and Vasudeva, being very compassionate, very kind-hearted, they immediately forgive him and he allows them to go free. So Vasudev and Devaki are released. But now Kamsa is filled with trepidation and he goes and consults with all his demoniac friends. And they say, let us start killing all the children born in this past 1 week to 10 days, just to make sure that we kill this baby Krishna wherever he is. And this is how Putana is sent to kill baby Krishna. So all these things happen. These are different pastimes, but this is how Krishna takes birth and then he grows up in Gokul. And all the beautiful pastimes, his childhood pastimes take place over there. Krishna is Krishna. Even though he's a newborn baby, he starts killing all the demons who come to kill him. Trinavarta, the wind demon, Sakatashura, the cart demon, Putana, of course, as we said. Like this, one by one, he's killing all the demons, even though he's a little baby. This is the all-powerful Lord. As we said, his pastimes are inconceivable. And one who understands the transcendental nature of these pastimes is liberated and will not take birth again. So therefore, we need to hear these pastimes and rejoice in the appearance of the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead as Sri Krishna, come to deliver us from this material world. Hari Bol. So we will stop here and we will open up for questions, comments, realizations, sharing.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a wonderful narration of the pastime. And yeah, it's for us, it's in the early morning time, right? So I'm starting with your class. My day is starting with your class. So I'm so happy that I heard this pastime. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have, sorry, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. And please turn on your cameras, possible. Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I cannot hear you.
really? Sridevi Mataji, are you able to hear me? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mataji, now I can hear. I'm so sorry. It was my mistake.
No. So, Mataji, yeah, every Janmashtami we hear the pastimes of Lord Krishna. We prepare our mood such that we meditate on the Lord and we take part in the celebration in the temples, local temples. So, what exactly we can do in Janmashtami Day year by year as we progress in Krishna consciousness, like in our daily sadhana, or what changes we can bring, Mataji, year by year? Please suggest. You're on mute, Mataji, Sridevi Mataji.
I will tell you what my mother used to do every Janmashtami, and maybe this will be helpful. She had a little silver cradle and a little silver baby Krishna. And every year she will decorate this little cradle and she will bring all the panchamritam, all the different paraphernalia to bathe the Lord. You know, milk, ghee, butter, banana, sugar, water, honey, panchamrita she will do. She will bathe. She will be singing all the different songs of Krishna. And she will make a very nice little festival because she was doing everything at home. That was my remembrance. And then she will distribute prasadam to everybody. This is it. So when my child was growing up, I was not in Krishna consciousness that time. I carried on in my own small way to try to develop those same ideas in my daughter. We would have little get together and we would read or we would relate that pastime of how Krishna took birth and we would give prasadam to all the kids like that. After coming to Krishna consciousness, I have been mostly in the temple only. So what I did, and my mother also would do this, she would make rice flour paste and she would dip her closed fist in that rice paste and press it on the ground. It will become like a soul of a baby. the foot, little footprint of the baby, and put little tiny dots for the toes. And like baby Krishna is coming inside the house, she will make those little footprints all the way to the cradle. So I was doing that for the temple because I said, okay, now I will continue that tradition and I will do it. So my temple president's wife was so happy. Every year I will make that rice flour paste and I will make those little footprints coming from the courtyard all the way inside the temple, all the way to where the cradle would be. So she would say, it's your time to do this. Then I would make little rangolis and all around the cradle. And of course, it was very joyful because everybody does something, no, in the temple. So that is how I try to keep the tradition going. But everyone can do whatever is within their capacity. Not everyone may have the full facilities, but if you have, you can do something. You can make some nice preparations. You can offer to Krishna. You can read the pastime to kids. It's basically for kids, to get an attachment for Krishna. So it is very nice to involve children and say, look, little baby Krishna is being born. Let's decorate the cradle. Let's bring flowers. Let's do something. So each child can do something and get involved, and that's their devotional service to Krishna. So this is just my humble suggestion. Maybe somebody else would like to also share and contribute and help Srimati. If someone would like to say something, feel free to jump in and say.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I don't have a little baby Krishna, but we have Gaurnitai and Jagannathji. So we'll just do some planning to do some abhishekam for them.
Yes, very nice. They are your babies now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice
Dear
question.
devotee, thank you, Mataji. Dear devotees, any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please
Pranam
accept
to
my
you.
humble obeisances.
Please accept mine. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj.
Yes, Mataji, all glories to all the devotees and the Vaishnavas, and all glories to you, Mataji. Mataji, my question was like, why Narad Muni is like this? Like, why he create chaos everywhere? Like it should be very simple, but why he went to Kamsa and said that, oh, this can be happen? So why he do this, Mataji?
Yeah, Narad Muni gets a bad rap, especially in India. People like to say, bad things about Narad Muni, but actually he is Devarishi. He doesn't do anything to harm anyone or to cause chaos or trouble or this or that. It is just that people have misunderstood and then misrepresented. What is Narad Muni's intention? To bring about the birth of Lord Krishna. So the 6 sons of Kalanemi were going to be killed anyway. It is not that he arranged for some special cruel death for them. They were already cursed and they were bound to, undergo that punishment. So all he did was hasten the Lord's appearance, hmm, which, because this is also what Krishna wants. He wants to come and he wants to take birth and he wants to kill this Kamsa and all other demons who are causing so many difficulties on the earth. So actually, he is not creating chaos. He is actually fulfilling the desires of Krishna.
Okay.
He
Okay,
is
Mataji.
Devarishi, and it is actually a misconception. Actually, in all Hindi cinemas and all, we see the role of Narad Muni as mischief maker. That is why we Indians grow up, having a wrong impression. But this is actually very, actually, it's offensive actually to even think like that, because Narad Muni is Devarishi and he never does anything to harm or hurt. In fact, he is the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, such great souls. Hmm? He is one of the Mahajans. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapila Manu Prahlad Janaka Bhishma Ballir Vayasaki Vayam. So he is one of the 12 Mahajans. So we have to get rid of all these ideas that we have got. Growing up in India, we see all these Hindi movies showing Narad Muni as a mischief maker. Even I grew up like that. Sorry to say it, but I had to cleanse my mind of all these misconceptions. So that is why I'm sharing with you that Narad Muni is a very exalted personality. He never does anything to harm anyone or create chaos.
Yes, Mataji, that was I thinking like he is a devotee, he's a great devotee. So why he do this? So this question came to my mind from like long. So I asked
Right.
today.
Yeah, because we get our conceptions of all these things, from, at least for me, it was watching all these Hindi movies, in which Narad pastimes were there, where he comes and, it is said like, Narad Muni, you come here to create mischief. The main character will talk like this. So this is, the impression people have, but it is not correct.
Yes, Mataji, I too have baby Krishna and Radharani and Thakurji. So I always want to my childhood was like my grandfather used to do this Janmashtami, and we were so excited in the Janmashtami, and we do Nirajal Vrata from our childhood only. And since I came to Krishna consciousness, you are true, Mataji. I am in the temple now. The craziness for the 12 a.m. waiting at home and giving birth to Lord Krishna and doing aarti, all has gone. I just go to temple. So sometime I feel like, what about the Thakurji who is at home? Because I'm not here. I went to temple.
Right, right. And it's true that one must not neglect the deity at home. We can do something at home also before going to the temple. So what I used to do, I would not be able to do everything. So I would do some little something, offer fruits, offer flowers, offer something. And that way I would do honor my deities at home, worship them at home also. And I would definitely cook something to offer as prasadam, and then I would go to the temple and do whatever services I have to do. So I would do both, but not so elaborately at home as I was doing in the temple, because now you are doing that service so that everyone can be happy. When you do it at home, only a limited few will get that pleasure. Hmm? But when you serve in the temple, so many people will be coming, and so many devotees will get transcendental pleasure by seeing the offerings of the devotees for the Lord. So don't worry, you are definitely not doing anything wrong by going to the temple. Just reassuring you.
Right now, I was decorating. I was listening the class, and I was decorating Radharani and Thakurji.
Very nice. We have to do according to time, place, circumstance. What is possible, that's all we can do. What is possible, that's all we can do. For example, I am literally in a hospital room over here because I have come to assist one senior Mataji who needs admission in the hospital, and I came to help her because she doesn't have anyone. So I'm thinking, what can I do? And then Srimati gave me this service. So I said, okay, this is my service for Krishna today. And luckily for me, Amrita Nam, my god sister, our god sister, she has some program fixed somewhere in the evening. So she said, you come with me. So this way I get to do a little seva in the evening. I also, of course, went to the local temple for Mangal Aarti, but I could not involve in any, service as such. So Srimati was very merciful and gave me this service.
No, we are very lucky to get the association of you all senior devotees.
Thank you.
First and foremost, I'm not senior, Aarti. I'm just old.
Mataji never agrees that she's senior. Mataji never agrees.
No, I'm not senior. I feel very embarrassed when people say senior. I look right and left because they must be talking about somebody else.
No, Mataji, my sense was like senior in the sense like you have been in Krishna consciousness from very long. We are just new, the beginners. In that sense, I was saying, Mataji.
Well, it is true that I've been around from 2002, but that's like, trees, one tree stands in one place for thousands of years and does nothing. So like that, just because someone has been around so long, it is not the length of time, it is the depth and the sincerity. Somebody who is very new, within few years, they can just take off and become a pure devotee. And people who have been hanging around for me, like me, for 20, 30, 40 years, they're still struggling with anarthas. So we can never say that somebody is that many years, so therefore they are senior. One seniority is understood by the quality of the interactions they have with devotees, by the quality of their service, by the quality of their service to their Guru Maharaj. These are the things. So it doesn't mean just because somebody's been around long, they're senior. You know what I mean?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Manas Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna, all the devotees present. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, to Guru Maharaj, and to you, Mataji. So, Mataji, first of all, wonderful session. Thanks for sharing wonderful insights about the Lord. So, you also mentioned in between that, for that one moment, Kansa become kind, I should say. I mean, or rather, he was apologetic. He apologizes, and he felt bad about what he did. So what happened in that moment? Is it like because even he was having a demonic heart, but still he's a part and parcel of the Lord. So somewhere in between his the true nature of of being get into him, and he became like that. So what could be
Yeah,
the reason of
it just goes to show that nobody is beyond redemption. Nobody is completely black, you know.
mm,
Nobody is like completely condemned. Everybody may have some good qualities somewhere, and for that moment he displayed some little good qualities. Of course he flipped again, because this is the nature of demons. With uncontrolled mind and senses, they cannot really, this is why, unless one engages in devotional service, one cannot purify oneself. So this is an example that yes, the demon became a little kind and a little compassionate, but that was short-lived.
mm,
That was short-lived.
mm. So would that
But
mean that
why that happened, that explanation has not been given. At least in Krishna book, it has not been given. And I have not read anywhere else also why and how Kamsa became compassionate for that brief moment. It will take some research to find out what suddenly happened, that he displayed that side of him.
yeah, I was just thinking because there was nothing, there was no one around him to to give him that kind of a insight, so that he changed immediately for that moment, even. So what actually happens? I was just wondering. Sure,
Well,
thank you,
Super Soul is
thank you. Yeah,
always there, and Super Soul
yeah,
is always giving inspiration from within. So
right.
definitely he was influenced by some, we don't know. Again, this is, I don't want to
Hmm,
speculate, but in general, when we see good behavior on anyone's part, we can conclude that there is some inspiration from within to act in that
hmm.
manner. But in this case, we have to read. I have to read and research to say definitively what it is. We don't know.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Mataji.
Good question. Food for thought. Thank you. Nice question.
Thank you, Mataji. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Mataji, I don't see any questions or comments. So shall we end the call here? Yeah, as it is Janmashtami day, everyone will be busy with services. You were also saying that you have to go somewhere. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for participating. Hope you will have a wonderful, blissful Janmashtami today. And thank you all. Thank you, Mataji, for such a wonderful class and nice discussion. So we'll all meet again tomorrow with Srila Prabhupada Appearance Day, and we'll hear from Srila Prabhupada tomorrow. Thank you so much
Thank
once again. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Srimati, for holding the fort for all of us and always trying to please Gurudev by holding the class every day, no matter what. I really am very appreciative of how much you want to serve the devotees and serve Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for all that you're doing for us.
Mataji, it's beneficial for me too. It's my day starts with this class. So I always look forward to these classes, Mataji. Thank you so much. So we'll end the call here. Thank you, everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Yasya
Kripa
kripa
sindhuvekam pavanebhyo
Patitanam
vaishnavebhyo
pavanebhyo
Namo
Vaishnavebhyo.
Namo. Thank you so
Just
much,
wishing you
Mataji.
all a
Thank
very
you. Thank
auspicious,
you.
very blissful, very wonderful Janmashtami. Hari
Happy
Thank you
Bol.
so much.
Janmashtami. Happy
Bari bari
Janmashtami. I love you.
jai.
Haribo.
Janmashtami.
Thank
Jai.
you.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Ki jai.
Jai.
Ji
Thank
Hari
you.
Bol. Hari Bol.